Hello, this is Kinninigan. Per perfectly imperfect 492. I said Silurians in that video, and well, I plan to make a future video about this, but it is not the Saurians. The Silurians are something that mainstream science, listen to me, mainstream science has now admitted that possibly millions of years before Homo sapiens came here, there was a sentient reptilian species on planet Earth, and they call them the Silurians. You can't get any more mainstream than Popular Mechanics because they covered this article. When articles get shared like this, what it is a scientific academic journal will get written by some nerd. No big deal. I'm a nerd at heart. And then what happens is it gets shared through the media. I mean, this article starts right off. It might seem like something from quote unquote ancient aliens, but it's an important thought experiment. These Silurians are the type of, I guess you would say, the reptilian serpent that actually predate the dinosaurs, which the native, I call them Terrans, would be. And this is going back 400 million years. Now, we know the real timeline of American history. The history of the planet is not correct. However, right here, Homo sapiens first appeared on the Earth about 300,000 years ago. In the unlikely case that an old industrial civilization had existed, Denny's know what oparts are? Basically proves this theory. Oparts are out of place artifacts. You know, where they find like swords that are fucking 10 feet big, and the only one that could wield it would be a giant. And they're like, no, they're ceremonial swords. Go look at the ceremonial axes from Greece. I believe it was Crete. They had these giants, and they have these giant axes there. And people are like, no, they're ceremonial. They just made. There's a huge samurai sword in Japan that was supposedly made for a giant. Now they're a quote unquote ceremonial sword. If you know anything about sword making, you don't make a 10-foot long sword for ceremonial reasons. One that is actually not a decoration piece and is actually forged like a real katana. Yeah, I got to make videos about them. But anyway, it was then that Schmidt called the idea the Silurian. S. I'm all right. Am I pronouncing this correctly? It's Silurian. Silurian. I don't care about my English. That's not the point here. Tower of Babel. I want to go back to. But anyway, the Silurian hypothesis, paying homage to the sophisticated reptilian hominoids awoken by nuclear testing after 400 years of hibernation in the 1970s episode of the British science fiction television series Doctor Who. So what they're saying, there was a I used to watch Doctor Who in the 80s. I had an uncle that was a nerd. He's the one that took me to go see Return of the Jedi in 1983. God bless him. And I grew up watching Monty Python, which is why seeing Men in Drag is no big deal to me. I grew up watching Men in Drag on Monty Python. I don't like spam. Yeah, anyone? I had a screwed up sense of humor as a kid because I watched so much British comedy because my family did. Because we had back in the day in the 80s, you had PBS, which was the public broadcast system, because you only had like 5 TV channels, right? I was the one that had to get up and go turn the dial on the TV. I was the remote control. So we used to watch Doctor Who, and I don't remember this episode, but I want to download it. I'll find out which episode it was. But the idea is that's more mystosynchronism. So the idea is, yeah, 400 million years ago, there may have been a sentient and why they say reptilian? Just there is. There's the native Terran reptilians, but here's the conundrum here, and here's where the big fucking problem is, and why you're not going to get the right answers off ancient aliens, because Alpha Draconians are hostile towards native Terran reptilians. Native Terran reptilians don't want anything to do with humans or Alpha Draconians, and they feel their planet was stolen off them after the destruction of Atlantis. They coexisted with the Atlanteans because the Atlanteans weren't black magic practicing assholes. Obviously. Who the fuck wants Alpha Draconians to show up at your planet? Look what they've done. They are parasites, and everything I know about them mostly comes from the Lacerda files, but the idea is they are putting out the idea now that there was a pre-existing reptilian species on Earth, and it's called the Silurian hypothesis. And this is important because it might just make it into my book. But I don't feel that this hypothesis is going to give you the right answers. Most of them can't even comprehend that there are two different reptilian species and they're not even the same looking. Native Terrans are serpentine, whereas Alpha Draconians are avian. And I highly find it highly unlikely that you're going to run into either one of those two species on a subway or walking into a 7-Eleven because it's just not going to happen. You may run into an Archon-possessed occultist. That's more likely to happen. Well, yeah, they're trying to turn us into Babylon. So, I will be digging into this Silurian hypothesis. I'm going to get the academic journals that actually wrote this and came up with the idea and see what they're really trying to gatekeep with this. Because, yeah, I don't have any other pictures pulled up for this or anything, but secondly, someone said something about the magic circle at the CIA is not 9 feet, it's 16 feet. Alright. Well, I did look up magic circles. 9 feet is the standard size. Could it be a bigger circle for ceremonial magic? Well, it would have to be if you have more people in the circle, but it's still a magic circle. That's what it's symbolic of. Just like a reptilian in human form is symbolic of being a human, but they're... Now, like I said, running into Alpha Draconians is not something that's going to happen on a day-to-day basis. You'd be very hard. Unless you actually met Aleister Crowley or Barbara Bush in real life. Yeah, good luck even getting close to them. This is what I mean. You can't get close to these Alpha Draconians. Good luck, right? We only have a few in modern times that I know of. General Petraeus, when he shifted. Yusef Estes. Aleister Crowley. And I'm willing to bet Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, was one also. Because Alpha Draconians have TDS, but it's not against Trump, it's against God. And the same way they despise God is the same hate they project on the Trump. Why? Because he was trying to shut down human trafficking. Alright, I'm done beating around the bush and speaking in code or whatever. Over the past few weeks and months, I've seen quite a few YouTube channels get taken down over stupid things. And other people are, they're not happy. Medical doctors want to threaten lawsuits now because of the stuff coming out about the sticky thing. I don't know if you're following that. Chris Cuomo said he has VAIDS now. What VAIDS? Vaccine, whatever. A piece of shit. The only reason he got out of office was to let that swamp thing hatchel. You can't tell that thing was born a man. I don't know where, what's really fucking scaring me? Is how many men out there, like these professional Disney YouTube reviewers that review quote-unquote Disney movies all day, and you can't pick out the Transformers or know what Kathleen Kennedy is? Like, this is not a woman problem. If you had sexy women in your movies, people are going to watch it. And I don't even care if it's a Transformer. Put Uma Thurman in a movie swinging around a katana. That shit was hot. Everyone loves Kill Bill. I do. Yeah, bullshit. You can't make a Jedi movie because you put these. The person who made the Acolyte, Harvey Weinstein's assistant. First of all, Harvey Weinstein is not what he says he is. I heard he's a reverse, other way around. And his assistant, Leslie Headland, whatever its name is. Yeah, go look at her jaw. When they say the word queer, I figured out their coding. They use the word queer to identify themselves when they're Transformers. Things I notice. Tell me I'm wrong. This is why gay people are disowning these people. Why? Because you don't think gay men want to see straight white males that are sexy in movies? Yeah, they want to see men in movies. Lesbians want to see women. How much of the population wants to actually see Transformers? It's a small percentage. Hey, if that's your freak, go to Pornhub. There's a whole fucking section over there on it. You know, you can go look up all the Transformers you want and have fun over there. Stay the fuck out of our movies and video games. Because your agenda is failing. And people are finally going to figure out what it is. For years, the idea that Barbara Bush could have been Aleister Crowley was, and I was, and here I'm coming out with the theory. Yeah, I believe it's correct. And that would also mean that the Transuguthian magic I was talking about, stealing the innocence of other life forms to extend your own life for immortality, is correct. Secondly, we go into, let's open this can of worms. What is the real purpose of the CIA? And, do I need to go into details about false flag operations, ISIS, who founded Hamas? Come on. What is this, amateur hour? This is a reptilian conspiracy channel, okay? Go take your, just getting into Bigfoot and lizard folk and UFOs. All right, we're a little past that. Don't let my subscriber count fool you. I'm on my 10th YouTube channel. Anyway, I'll pin this as the top comment if you want to read this. This is the Silurian hypothesis. And don't worry, I'm on the case. This has only came out in the past year, November 29th, 2023. So the journal was probably published before that. It went around to a bunch of websites and they got it in the public domain. But why? One, it contradicts God and the Bible. That's one of the most important things to them. And two, they're trying to, it's reptilian fear porn. They're trying to, oh yeah, reptilians were here first. It's their planet. Next thing you know, they'll be saying the fucking Atlanteans were reptilian. No, I doubt it. Anyway, if you could support the channel, all the links are in the description. Take care and God bless.